Welcome to the second edition of Tribe Talks, and I'm so excited to have Nicole, the founder of Muze Women, the soon-to-be best global women's cyclist brand. I'm putting it out there, Nicole, out there already. Welcome to Tribe Talks. We have been working together now for a year.
Would it be? It might have been. Is it 9 months to a year? I
Yeah,
need to
9
check.
months to a
Goes so
year.
fast.
And you are just one of my favorite stories, students, people to work with. So I can't wait for people to hear about what you've done in that last year. But before they do, can you just give us a brief background?
Yeah, so my background is basically marketing, innovation, and business, working in, several different markets across fast-moving consumer goods and alcohol. So I work for companies like Unilever, Cadbury, Diageo, etc. So my background is very much selling through a retailer, and then also, alcohol, food, personal care products. So coming into the space I'm in now is quite different from for two reasons, because it's apparel and because it's e-commerce. Always had a passion for sport, and probably the last 13 to 14 years I've gotten into triathlon and then cycling longer and longer distances. So lots of opportunity to test apparel, and then also talk to a lot of other men and women about what's happening in the cycling market. So really, I was in corporate, and the beginning of this idea really started. It was probably about 14 years ago. A little seed in my head. I ordered my first cycling kit when I came into the market, and it was unisex, which basically meant male. So when I got the first kit, it was uncomfortable, it didn't fit anywhere, and compared to active wear, it just looked horrible. So since then things have changed quite a lot, but basically there's still a lot of opportunity there, and that's really the background to starting Muze Women, which is a female cycling apparel brand.
I love it. I love it. I love brands that solve a problem, and you've obviously got a really strong background in marketing. Not saying that makes it a simple process, but makes it it makes it easier because you have that kind of grounding knowledge. So just tell us about the journey to launch, because that's been, I've been very privileged and on part of that journey, but tell us about that journey.
I suppose, like obviously I started with that idea, and it was about seeing, is that actually an opportunity or not? Is it big enough? Would something resonate with women? And just understanding what I wanted to stand for as a product and as a brand. So we're really focused on technical performance, but also three big problem areas that we felt were differentiated in the market, because I think that's really important. You don't want to come in as a me too. So we're focused on getting a flattering fit, designs that sweat the girl stuff we talk about, from, ponytail holes in caps to bathroom bibs you can go to the toilet in, and transparent sustainability, as well as getting more women into cycling. So that was like, okay, is that a great idea? Is it going to be differentiated, and does it appeal to people? Then a lot of it was about doing some research. So what were women frustrated by? What could be some ideas? One of the big challenges for me was the supply chain and prototyping part, because, it's quite a technical product. A lot of the expertise for making those products has gone offshore from Australia. And so it was like, are we going to go to China, go to Italy, Eastern Europe, Southeast Asia? So really focused on getting quality suppliers you can work with, but also ones where minimums aren't too high, so that you can start slower. So I worked with a lot of partners in Australia to prototype and come up with the product, and then working with a manufacturer in Italy in the end. And then once we sort of got the product, it was over to working with people like you, Kelly, looking at, who are our partners, what sort of platforms do we want to sell through, and then in parallel, just upskilling myself, in particular on e-commerce, I think.
Love that. How did you find the partners to work with? So, for instance, in Italy and on in Australia.
I found that quite challenging. I think from a marketing side, it was relatively easy because I had that network. What I found in the apparel market is people really protect their IP when it comes to designers, and then also, you know, supply chain material partners and production partners. And then also, because you don't know a lot about the market, really trying to understand what do you actually want. So, you know, for me, I think going through a few steps with different designers, because, you know, there's lots of different industries they can design for, but technical apparel is quite difficult. So I found that. So for me, it was like just reaching out to networks, reaching out to people that I knew that worked in the industry, Googling, LinkedIn,
Yeah.
sort of going around another way, like, for example, talking to fabric suppliers that might be able to recommend a factory or something like that. But that actually took a long time and probably was the hardest part.
Yeah, right. And we both know that part of launching an e-commerce store is really growing a database. Like you
Mhm.
need to have a database in order to launch and grow an e-commerce store. What are some of the things you've done to basically launch the product?
I think something that I'm really passionate about, it probably comes from my spirits marketing background, is making sure that you just have people that love your product. You know, there's going to be a core target market, and if you land it well with them, they're going to be your best advocates. So for me, I was very lucky in that cycling is a niche sport. Also, I'm quite connected personally to that community, so my network is reasonably good to leverage. So about 12 months out from launch, I started to connect in with the ride community, build my ambassadors. And they didn't necessarily have to have great social media followings, but they're just very well connected and respected within that community.
Yeah.
Also was I just kept my friends and people connections really involved in the product development and testing,
Mm,
obviously to get the product right, but then they can go out and advocate for you because they know that it's a great product and they're sort of engaged as well from the start.
yeah.
Building a social community across the different platforms, making sure that we were then knocking people into signing up to the database.
Yeah. How did
And
you
then
do that?
just incentivizing them. So basically, or to start with, I think people are intrigued once if they get onto your socials, you know, they might be, okay, I want to learn more about this brand, I'm going to sign up. But also we did some giveaways as well,
Yeah.
from, you know, different product that we could develop, which was relatively cheap quite early on. And then also using ambassadors to get people to sign up as well. So we didn't do any advertising. We're only just starting to do that. So it was very much organic at this stage. The other thing we did is we launched in mid-December, and so we started attending events in January, like Tour Down Under, which is a big cycling event. We offered an incentive for people at our pop-up, like a prize if they signed up to our database. So that also kicked us up at a level as well.
Yeah.
And I think as well, we basically my mentality from the beginning was to do a soft launch, you know, not overstretch myself, test things, learn things, and then sort of build from there. So that helped.
And in that testing and learning phase, what are some of the things? So from a product perspective, I mean, it's always hard as a founder when you put your product out there. It's like putting your baby out there and someone saying it's ugly. It's a horrible,
Yeah.
horrible process. But as a founder, what are some of the things that you've done that maybe you've got feedback on, and then how have you dealt with that feedback?
Yeah. I think that once again, I think that was a reason to soft launch. It's like
Mm,
you might think this product is great, but you know, it is. It's like putting your heart and soul out there and
mm,
waiting for people to judge you. But you've just got to realize you've got to be pragmatic. Nothing's going to be perfect.
yeah,
Um, and feedback is a gift, they say.
yeah,
So, you know, listen to people. And so I think since obviously I did product testing before, my ambassadors, because they're closer into me and they're going to be very honest with me, I've said to them that part of their role is also to give me really honest feedback on
yeah,
testing the product, which has been great. And
yeah.
to be honest, it's not that inconsistent with what I want to tweak and change after the first round. Also, I think, you know, just quality control and any returns you're getting, just really leaning in and having good customer service.
Mm.
So they're very open to giving you feedback. And I just positioned it as, oh, that's really that's not great that you didn't like that or that happened, but give us some great feedback because we'd like to build it into future stuff.
And are you doing that as a follow-up question via email, or how are you
Yeah,
managing that?
Through the whole delivery, I mean, I'm not outsourcing any delivery or customer service at this stage. I'm really close to it and just trying to do things straight away.
Yeah.
So they will, send a message saying that something's wrong, or maybe the sizing, they want to change over for a different size. And so I reply just with my name personally, and also ask them at the same time that, can you please give me some feedback, because we want to integrate it into future products.
Yeah.
I think as well, what I've also done is, because we're a new brand, we're doing new different things, is they've got free returns for a period of time. And to be honest, not a lot of people take it up, but I think it gives people reassurance around selecting something that's new that they're not quite sure of.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. And we've seen that in research and surveys we've done around customer purchase behavior, that if it's a new product, new brand, they're much more likely to purchase if there is a free returns policy. So
Yeah.
that's good. And then in terms of um, you've spent a lot of time on your messaging and your product packaging. Like, it's something I've observed about you. Although you're kind of 80% and can go, you're also a perfectionist in a lot of ways. You spent a lot of time on that messaging, product messaging, packaging. Do you think, do you think that's really paying off now? Have you had to change anything as a result of that?
I suppose, one intention is to put something out there and obviously improve the commerciality of it over
Yeah,
time. So that would be something you continue to look at. But for me, I suppose, is what product experience can we deliver at every single touch point, whether that be when they first hear about the brand, when they receive something. Mine's not a low value item. So we want to make sure it's both sustainable, but it's also a nice experience when people open it up, with a personal message and nice packaging. And then the other big thing for me was just the customer service. Like, I've experienced bad customer service in this industry, and people talk about it, and it really stops them from buying from that brand again. And, I've had anecdotal feedback from people, just because I'm onto it so quickly and trying to solve whatever challenge I have, that's been that's left a really nice taste in their mouth, I suppose. So at this stage, I think I'm too close in. It's only been about 7 or 8 weeks since I launched, to really start tinkering with things. But it's something I'll do slowly over time, especially as we automate and things need to become more profitable.
Yeah, totally. I'm just going to ask you, actually, I won't ask you a number, but in terms of your expectation around that 7 week launch, or let's say the first 4 week, did
Yeah.
you meet or exceed your expectation?
It's hard. Like, we've done lots of forecasting and everything. I think you get that initial spike, and
Yeah,
then it sort of drops off, and then you build again.
yeah,
So for me, I think one frustrating thing for me was launching around Christmas.
yeah.
So I think that's why I got that little sort of peak and trough.
Mm,
But no, I'm really happy, because I feel like at every stage you're adding a new thing to the mix that's going to improve your sales. So we just started doing some meta advertising the end of last week.
yeah. Awesome.
So
How's that
that's
going?
definitely going to create a difference. It was Thursday night, so
Oh, okay.
it's
So
now
no
Monday,
numbers yet. Yeah.
but I can see the reach is going up, and engagement, new sign-ups to socials and things. So I expect that to have some nice returns.
Amazing. What next? What next for Muze Women this year? What have you got in the making?
So, we've got some events happening. We will have pop-ups. As I said, we'll continue to do more marketing.
Yeah.
And we've got some different product drops scheduled. So we launched in summer, we'll have some winter items, and then scaling up to a more impactful launch, I suppose, when it comes to next spring, summer. Because hopefully then we've got everything sort of buttoned down, and we know that everything works and our products are perfect.
Absolutely. Well, they already are. They already are. I've seen them. They already are. Nicole, thank you so much. Like I said, it's an absolute privilege to have been part of your journey so far, and to see just what you have managed to achieve. It's phenomenal. It really is.
Thank you.
You've built a brand that has purpose, that has vision. You've built a brand that, even if you're not a cyclist like me, You can absolutely connect to it, and you've built something to be very, very proud of. So I know it's going to
Thank
be
you.
a huge year for you. And once the cyclists of this world get their hand on your product, I know it's going to go gangbusters nuts. So congratulations, and thank you for taking time out to speak to me.
Thanks a lot, Kelly, and thanks for your help. I definitely couldn't have done it without this clinic.
Oh, you're an easy one to help. Like, you've got all of the ingredients for a really successful global e-commerce brand. And I think I said that to you when we first met.
Mm.
I think my first conversation with you was, I see the global possibility for this brand, and with your marketing background, your passion for perfection, and the fun aspect that you bring to it. Like, everyone go and have a look at Muze Women, have a look at the product pages. Like, I love reading them. I just find them really funny and entertaining. I'm not just going to buy a product, I'm actually getting entertained while I'm there. So you have all the ingredients.